is a how-to episode on when child support begins and temporary child support. Now, let's suppose that Eric and Melanie Wolff file for divorce, but they're not yet separated, physically separated. They're living in the same house and the bills are being paid and they have children. What happens in that scenario for child support? There's an interesting feature of 1410-115, which is the statute on child support. And it says that child support starts, the obligation begins upon the later of the filing of a petition for divorce or dissolution of marriage and or legal separation or physical separation of the parties. And so in that scenario, neither Eric nor Melanie Wolff are going to owe the other child support until they physically separate. Now, the counter is also true, and that is that if Eric and Melanie Wolff, if they physically separate, let's say they go through a trial separation, Eric moves out, gets an apartment somewhere in Denver, and they have children and they are equally dividing, or it doesn't really actually matter what their parenting arrangement is. Child support does not actually start until they file. And once they file, or once Eric moves out, then child support is going to begin to accrue. And a party can either pay a particular amount of child support. So if Eric is paying Melanie or paying the mortgage and giving her some money or access to the bank account so that she can pay for groceries and other things for the children, the court can take that into consideration in determining back support. But if Eric takes a different approach, a much more aggressive approach, and just says, I'm not paying you anything. We're going through a divorce and we're going to separate our finances. You're on your own. And there's a disparity between their incomes and or there's a disparity between the amount of time that they're spending with the kids, then back support can start accruing. And so it's going to start upon that date when they either physically separated or the petition was filed. Now, you can get into various arguments between Eric and Melanie Wolff on how much Eric should pay, but temporary child support is going to be provided through the duration of the divorce and or the action that is going to take place between Eric and Melanie. And you'll take into consideration the amount of maintenance. As we've addressed in other episodes, you determine a party's income after the property that they're allocated in the dissolution is split up, but you can't obviously do that in the temporary situations. There can be arguments. A party can file a motion for temporary orders, or there can be a temporary agreement, and that agreement on the amount of support can be different compared to what ultimately is ordered after the court. Eric and Melanie could change their parenting schedule. Eric could get more parenting time through the pendency of the divorce. So at the permanent orders hearing, let's say a year later, the situation could be drastically different. Melanie could be working by then, and Eric could have the children more than he did when they first separated. So those various factors can be taken into consideration in determining temporary child support. But for now, you should understand when it accrues and the various issues that are going to go into the determination of temporary child support.